Good evening, everyone. We just passed the parasha of Tazria and Metzora, which mainly speaking about the sin of Lashon Hara. I said yesterday in my lecture in Great Neck, I wanted to highlight one idea from the parasha, that if actually two ideas, that when you review the parasha, you don't have to be a genius to know that something like this only the creator of the world was able to write. No person would ever make such laws. If you really watch the law, review the laws carefully, how many things that we don't understand where they come from, it's not in a human logic. To shave the eyebrows, the hair, even to take off the beard, to be isolated for a week and then maybe another week. Many things, interesting things. Leprosy in a body, in a walls, in a clothing. No person would ever write such laws because he has no benefits by writing it. It's interesting. And plus, it always goes in the right order. First, it's a warning. It's not always go directly to the person's body. First, in his belonging, in the walls or in his clothing. And only after that, if he didn't learn his lesson, it goes on his body. And then the problems really begin. But the main thing from that parasha yesterday is that we have to remember. The most important thing, what is it? That we have to see how much a person had to suffer from one word of Lashon Hara about another Jew. If you see how much he had to suffer. First of all, the unbelievable embarrassment. Try to imagine that today if a person would speak Lashon Hara about another Jew and they put him on television and they put him in a special prison and nobody can go next to him and his kids in school, where is your father? We saw that they put your father over there in a camp and he cannot go back to the neighborhood. For what? For one bad word, which people do it probably 100 times a day in our time, unfortunately. Just see for one time how much a person has to suffer. And from that, we have to understand that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I always say, life is not a picnic, like some people think. Here, look, I've been doing it for years and nothing happened. Nothing happened. They should understand nothing happened yet. When God forbid it starts, the problem begins. That was the idea of this, the main idea of this parasha. When we review it, we see how severe is this. Now, this is also one of the sins where it's very, very difficult to correct. Because almost every sin, if a person made it, there's a way to correct it. You stole $100. You return it back to the person, you apologize, sorry for the inconvenience, please forgive me. Comes Yom Kippur, you ask Hashem to forgive you, it's over. It's like you never did it. You make tshuva. Coming to a person and telling him, I spoke Lashon Hara, forgive me please, that's not correcting the problem. Why? Even if this person is a fool, and he agreed to forgive you right away without asking what kind of Lashon Hara you spoke about me, to who, to where, to see what kind of damage you made him. You know, it could be either a fool or such a tzaddik that he doesn't care whatever damage you made him, he forgives. No, you have some righteous people like this also. But normal people, first question they have to ask, what did you say about me? With all the embarrassment he has to say. Because there's one way that you say about me, that I'm too strict in a mitzvot. You meant bad, but for me it's a compliment. So it's no problem, I forgive you right away. But if you come and start making up a bad reputation and you say about me this and that, the word is traveling and the damage accumulates. Why? If you have a store, for instance, let's say you sell meat, glad kosher meat, and one of your competitors, because he doesn't have emunah in Hashem, he makes up a rumor that your meat is not so kosher. You know, you have to be careful. That's all he said. You got to be careful from that store. And he goes and say to his wife, and she say it to half of the neighborhood. Within a month, there will be 1,000 customers that don't go there anymore. You have to pay him the damage of every customer in the Olam Haba. Every customer, every dollar he lost until the day he die, you are guilty. Think about it. Just think about it. And what did you gain? You think that by making customers not going to him, necessarily they come to you? You are foolish if you think that's the way to make business. If you trust Hashem, you know HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send you the business if you want, with or without all this Lashon Hara. If he doesn't want you to have the business, yes. So maybe your friend went out of business, and it seems that you have double business now, because all these customers coming to you. But 7 years later, you have cancer. And it's going to cost you $300,000-$400,000 for doctors. That's all the money you stole from him. And people don't understand how it works. So it seems, oh, my plan worked. Look, I spoke about him. I make a bad reputation to his business. And look, I'm doubling my money. I already bought a new house. Very good. We will meet you in 20 years. Then you tell us if it paid or not. And that's why I always say, and I always repeat, and we have Yetzer Hara. It's not that we believe. We know that the Torah is real. But when it comes to action, it's not so simple. It's not really so simple. You know, I tell you a story. It's very interesting. One Avrech. What does it mean, Avrech? He sits in yeshiva. He's married, and he sits in yeshiva and learn full day. That's called Avrech in Hebrew. He's a tzaddik, a real one. Poor Avrech, he became sick. So he comes to the doctors in Israel. They examine him. They see, that he has a serious problem. So they told him, you must have a complicated surgery in the United States. There's a special surgeon, a goy, and he is the world expert in these surgeries. That's the only solution that you have. So he asked them, the doctors in Israel, how much it's going to be. So they told him, hundreds of thousands of dollars. The entire operation, to go there. The doctor is very expensive. He's a billionaire, this doctor, because from all over the world cases comes to him. So the Avrech doesn't even have $1,000. He doesn't have nothing. So what does he do? He goes back to the yeshiva and he sits and learns. For the little money that he has, he buys a ticket. He buys a ticket to America, to United States. They made the appointments to meet with the doctor, because first the doctor has to examine him to see if he can operate on him or not. And now, for 1 week, until his flight arrives, he's sitting and learning. He opens a lot of books in yeshiva, and everybody comes and says, what are you learning? He says, there's a bracha that you have to say when you see a smart person, Jew, Goy, doesn't matter. If you see a very smart person, like a very important surgeon that is one in the world, or there's only few like this, or who knows, like a inventor or a big scientist. The question is, how did he achieve what he achieved? Hashem gave him extra wisdom. He's a very smart person. Not everybody can become a big, giant doctor or professor. You got to be smart. A foolish person cannot do it. So he has a skill that ordinary people don't have. So this is something special. So the question is, do we have to make a bracha? What's the bracha, by the way? The bracha is very interesting. You have to say, Baruch Ata Hashem Elokeinu Melech HaOlam Shechalak Michochmato, right? Lebruav, that shared his wisdom with his creators, with the creation, with those who he created. So after reviewing all the books, do I have to make the bracha when I see that goy professor, or I don't have to make a bracha? That's on his mind. Every other person that his life is in a risk, what will he do? Run to all the rabbis, to all the gmachim, help me to collect money. How am I gonna get? Try to save my life. But this tzaddik doesn't worry about the money. Why? He knows he has one thing. From the day he was a kid until that day, he knew one thing. If I need the money, it's Hashem's problem to get me the money, not mine. It's not my problem. You understand? If I have to put my son in a special yeshiva, and it's a very expensive yeshiva, and I cannot afford it, I can't afford it. It's not my problem. Hashem has to get me the money. He doesn't get me the money, he cannot complain to me why the boy went off the way. Because I did what I had to do. To go and steal money, Hashem doesn't expect me. Yeah, I have an obligation to show Hashem how much I care to go and raise the money with any efforts that I can do. But if I did what I had to do and I couldn't do it, that's it. From that moment on, you're not responsible anymore. What can you do? So, after a week that he's sitting and reviewing and checking, and all kinds of argument if he has to say the bracha or not, in the end he came with the conclusion that when he see this goy professor, this brain surgeon, or whatever it was, I have to make this bracha in front of his face as soon as I see him. So he goes to United States without nothing, no money, nothing. The little that he had, he paid the ticket, he comes to United States, and now he has an appointment in a hospital. He comes to the hospital, they ask him your name, okay, you have an appointment, so he sits outside of the doctor's office. You know, he's reading, all of a sudden, the goy professor, you know, they called him in, so he sat in a room, the goy professor walked into the room. So he got up, so the goy professor came into the room, and the Avrech, the Israeli Avrech, got up and said the bracha loud and clear. So the goy, he got nervous. He never saw such a thing. Usually he come in, the guy say, hello, how are you? You know. So the goy says to him, excuse me, what was that? So he said, in our Jewish tradition, we have an obligation that when we see a very smart person, somebody special, when we see a very smart person, we have to praise God for giving him this wisdom. So as soon as you walk into the room, I know that it's something special, so I bless God for giving you all this wisdom. So the goy, you know, here comes the doctor, you see, with the white jacket, he comes in, exactly like the story. Now I have to make the bracha. All right, when you see the video, you know what we're talking about. So anyway, the doctor was so excited. He's a billionaire. I mean, for him, the money wasn't the issue, you know. Some doctors already, they get to a point that from this moment on, they're not really doing it for the money anymore. They may be enjoying saving lives, or they just got used to it, or they bored, there's nothing else to do, so they continue to do it. But really, if they want to retire, they can go and retire. What's the point, right? We see doctors like this. So this doctor was one of those. So he was so impressed that he told him, from this moment on, you are my private guest in United States. You are a guest of honor for me. Right away his attitude changed, you know, from a big shot to his body. So he told him, you know, he's thinking for a second. He said, did they charge you any money? Did you have to pay money, anything up front? Or your insurance? He said, no, I don't have insurance. Israel, I came from Israel, I don't have insurance. He said, oh, you're from Israel? Don't worry about the payment. Don't worry. I'll do it. It's all mine. You are my guest. He made him the surgery and saved his life. So this story teaches us a lot about life. There was another option here. This guy would run and collect money from all over, right? How much money he would collect? $5,000, $20,000, still wouldn't be enough for the surgery. But now when he show Hashem, I trust you. You want to save me? Fine. You don't want to save me? I surrender. What can I do? I go. I do my efforts. I go. Think about it. How many people will get on a plane to go to the United States to meet a professor, a goy, a doctor without $1? How many? You know how many? You can count on one hand how many would do it. And in the end, that was a big Kiddush Hashem. Big Kiddush Hashem. You know, speaking about Kiddush Hashem, in Israel they had a television show. Very interesting concept. What is it? They put a candy camera in a house of a woman. Poor woman, you know, average, poor. And she has an electrical short. They took a wire, let's say you have a teapot, electric one, and they made a short inside the plug, and once you put it in, all the light goes off. So now there's a problem in the house. Nothing major. So now they tell her, we will send you electricians. We want to see how honest they are. And they film it and they show it on television. Like, shame on you. So first guy who comes, he doesn't even check. As soon as she tells him the problem, what happened, he tells her, oh, it's a very big problem, 3,000 shekel. Almost a month of her work. 3,000 shekel. So she says to him, and you know, of course, they have a camera, it's recording everything. So she said, he's so sure about it? He didn't even check anything. He said, hey, ma'am, trust me, I'm 20 years in business. I don't need to check. 3,000, this is already after discount. She said, okay, I'll let you know. I'll let you know, she said. Okay, he gives her a card, he leaves. They get another guy. He comes, again, doesn't check, of course. So, oh, very big problem. How did you do such a foolish thing? 2,200 shekel. So she said, you don't have to check? No, what? Well, to check such a thing? It happens a lot. I know what to do. But it's not an easy job. Not an easy job. 5-minute job. So he said 2,200 shekel. And she said, okay, I'll let you know. Then the third guy comes. A Persian guy with a yarmulke. Electrician. He comes in. His name is Mr. Chasdian. Chasdian, it's come from the word chesed. Sometimes the name of a person shows really who he is. So he comes, Mr. Chasdian come in. So as soon as she told him the problem, right away he opened the cable. He said, oh, I see what happened. He got ripped because it's short. You know, it's touching. Right away he took a new thing, he cut it, he puts a new one inside. He fixed it. He told her 200 shekel. 3,200. 200 shekel. He say, but you know what? All you have to do is give me 120 shekel. It's okay. It's good also. He told her. So she says, why? You just say it's 200. He said, that's the normal price for something like this, but I decided to give you a discount. So you only pay me 120 shekel. None of them knows that they all recorded. They record them. So right away, when it happens, the host of the show came out. He was hiding. He comes out with his microphone. Hello, Mr. Chasdian. We are from the television. So he said, you are a real hero. You are an honest person. Everybody in Israel tonight will see that you're an honest person and this and that. You have the great advertisement. But one thing I'm curious. He say, you're honest. 200 shekel is very, very reasonable price. You come all the way here, you know, with your car. You fix the problem after all. Just a house visit. Why you decided to give her another extra discount after you've been so honest before? So he said, I looked at her house, and I saw it's a woman that doesn't have money. So I felt bad in my heart for her. So I wanted to do chesed for her. Why? It's from the Torah. Jew to another Jew. A gift, chesed. Wow, what is all the Torah is about? No, what's Judaism is about? Chesed. So they call up the other two now. They say, we're going to show you on television. So believe it or not, they still denied that they said. They tried to deny it. Told them, no, you're going to see tomorrow on the show. We will see, everybody will see. So now this guy got the biggest advertisement everywhere. They got the biggest embarrassment, and he got the biggest Kiddush Hashem. First of all, the advertisement and the money that he made is important. but nothing compared to the Kiddush Hashem, when all the secular Jews in Israel that all the time speaks against the religion, they see, look, the only one that was honest here was the guy with the yarmulke. Big Kiddush Hashem. Big Kiddush Hashem. So guess what? Do you think that's where the story ends? No, that's where the story begins. As one family in Israel, they watch the show. Now they have a mentor, a rabbi, that for 5 years is trying to make this family Shomer Shabbos. Religious. Very tough people. No, they don't surrender. No, it's hard. No, I can't. As they watch the show, the woman say to the husband, you know what? That's it. We gotta be like this person. Look at this. Look, this is the religion. They talking this and that. They say, you know what? Let's call the rabbi, make him happy. From now we become Shomer Shabbat. So they call up the rabbi and say, we decided to become Shomer Shabbat. He doesn't know about the show, that rabbi. So what happened? They say, we just watched that show. When we saw that Persian electrician, Hasdian, with the yarmulke, what he did, that's the right way. We want our children to be like this. And he make that entire family religious. Now, let's think for a second. Mr. Hasdian, let him live 120 years. He goes to Olam Haba. He's already in Gan Eden. He will benefit forever from this family, their children, their grandchildren. They go to yeshiva. Every mitzvah they do goes to his account. For what? For not being a greedy liar and a crook. And the crooks, those two crooks, yeah, they have some idiots that pay them right away and say, okay, fix it. They find idiots. The world is full of people that don't know what's going on, and they pay. What can they do? But do you think they benefit from the money? That's the question. Nothing. This money has no blessing, no bracha in it. No blessing whatsoever. There's one woman, one widow, she passed away in Tel Aviv. She's not religious. They make her a funeral, she doesn't have so many relatives. So they bring her, to the cemetery. And they have the rabbi, the Chevrat Kadisha, and she has her son. All of a sudden, thousands of birds coming and sitting on her grave. Thousands of birds from all over. Everybody in a funeral. What's going on here? Now, they don't just come to the cemetery all over. They're all around her grave. So the rabbi looks at the son. He said, look at this. Look how many birds came. They sit on your mother's grave. So, that's obvious, the boy says. All her life, the most important thing to her was not to throw the food and the bread, to make sure to give it to the birds. Every day she went to the terrace, she was putting jars with bread for all the birds to feed them. So all the birds came to pay her last respect. It's amazing. It's really amazing. The way the creation works is unbelievable.
How they know that already died?
How they know? The animals know a lot of things more than us. They know much more things than what we know. They see things, they know things. They don't have a free choice. They're not in a test. My aunt used to have a dog. In Israel, all the dogs have American names. Steve, Billy, Bob. I don't know why. Every dog in Israel, Johnny, Steve. That's really the names of the dogs in Israel. Fine, you go in Israel, you see. So this dog, his name was Billy. Black dog, curly, very small. So before this family became religious, my aunt, her husband, and her children, so they had Billy. So they used to live in the city of Ramle. Ramle, it's next to the airport, not far from Ben Gurion Airport. So when they became religious, they moved to Yerushalayim, to the most religious neighborhood, by the Bukharian neighborhood in Yerushalayim. It's all black hats there, yeshivot, this. Now the dog, you got to take him down. Cannot hide him in a box. You got to take him down. He needs bathroom, So they go, her husband go with a leash, And all the religious people look at him like, what is this? Yamakan, you walk with the dog? Don't you know that the dog is a curse in a house? You don't read Gemara? What is this? They're all surprised. Yes. So he saw that everywhere he goes. Now most people are polite, they don't say anything. But you see by their face, by the surprise, oh, you have a dog? Now sometimes he needs a ride. He has to get into the car with the dog. It's a problem, you know. So one time they said, you know, let's say we cannot take this embarrassment anymore. So they decided to give it to their son. He still lives in Ramle. He's married. Ramle, it's not so religious over there, you know. He can have the dog. So they took Billy to Ramle. It's about maybe 25 miles away, something like that, 30 miles away. It's half an hour ride with a car. So they put him by their son. 2 days later, they hear scratches at the door. 30 miles. He walked in highways, in fields, in streets. He came back to the house. Now, there was something very amazing about this dog. Every fast day, 5 times a year, and Yom Kippur, he doesn't eat. It's not a story. They bring him food, he doesn't touch the food. So they went to Rav Ben Zion Abba Shaul, the biggest Sephardic rabbi in the world, passed away 10 years ago. The biggest Kabbalist in the world, the holiest, the biggest tzaddik that we knew in this generation. An amazing person. And he told them, Tzar Ba'alei Chaim, you couldn't send him. It was a mistake to begin with. You keep him. What about the embarrassment? He said, people know you Ba'alei Tshuva. They have to use their head. It's not the end of the world. But you cannot send him away because he's suffering. And the Torah says you're not allowed to torture animals. It's torturing him. You have to feed him, you have to take care of him, everything. So when they told him that in Yom Kippur he doesn't eat, you bring him, you force him to eat, he doesn't want to eat. So he said, okay, Avi, now it's obvious, it's a gilgul of someone. The Zohar said that wicked people, they reincarnated in dogs. That's a punishment, which is worse than hell, worse than Gehenom, to be reincarnated in a body of a dog. And I always say, people don't understand the whole reincarnation concept. They think, well, now we have to get lucky to be reincarnated in a right dog. It's a big difference if you're the dog of Michael Jackson or the dog of the homeless in the street. It's a different lifestyle, no? One in the street, he's with his owner looking in the garbage. The other dog, he gets massage, $20 million inheritance. He has a garden over there with all kinds of amusement. You know, the private barber comes. You're laughing. But there's one idiot Jew that made a bar mitzvah to his dog. Did you hear that or no? Check in YouTube. Yeah, check. When a person doesn't have Torah, he becomes worse than a dog himself.
Where can I check that?
Yeah, just put bar mitzvah to the dog. Put it in Google, you find it. I'm telling you. And he made a fancy bar mitzvah that most Jews cannot afford to make to their children. Got him tefillin, everything.
They treat dogs sometimes like children because they cannot have children. And
But this is not Chilul Hashem, this is something opposite.
That's big Chilul Hashem. Big Chilul Hashem. Because everyone looks at this fool and says, look at these Jews, they lost their mind.
Like,
People actually came to celebrate it, Rabbi?
Yeah. Fancy party, thousands of dollars spent.
and people came to celebrate?
He should be in jail for the...
You know, in Hebrew we have a say. You know what it says in Hebrew? אמור לי מי חברך ואומר לך מי אתה. Tell me who are your friends and I will tell you who are you. You understand? If I never saw you, I spoke to you on the phone. I never saw you, I don't know who you are. 2 minutes we spoke on the phone. And you tell me, oh, you know that guy is my friend. I don't need to see you anymore. If this guy is a big chacham, tzaddik, I have to expect that you in the same category. If this guy is a Guido full of tattoos that walks like this on the street, then I should know what kind of person I should see when I meet you, right? It goes together. It's the same league. You see on the highways all these going with a motorcycle, like 600 of them going in a high. All of them one copy of the other. All fat, with beards, with tattoos, same show.
Stupid.
No? People with no, it's not only that they don't have any understanding what they live for, they don't have any direction in life. They live the moment. Nothing in their life, just to survive. That's what, to survive, and like they say in America, to have fun. That's it. That's the problem in the United States, which is actually spreading to the rest of the world now. Just to have fun. And since life is not so fun, you have to work, you have to make a living, everything is expensive, there's problems, schools, kids, divorce, courts, police, So what most people do? Go into drugs. It's supposedly an easy way to have fun, which later buries them. Later you see the price that they pay these people. But that's it. That's just about it. So he made a bar mitzvah to his dog.
Did anybody bother to ask him why is he doing the bar mitzvah?
You don't understand. They make a whole TV show about him. What do I tell you? You go, you see. Somebody sent me that email. For a minute I thought I'm dreaming. They interview him.
Did you actually see the dog?
Yeah, they put it.
You put its filling out on the dog?
Rabbi, maybe he was another dog that didn't eat on Yom Kippur.
Let's put it that way. A dog made bar mitzvah to another dog.
Oh my God.
That's the bottom line here. You understand? I got to tell you something. People who have dogs, if you really think about it, according to the Torah, dogs is one of the 3 cursed animals. Snake, crows, and dogs. Snake, we know why. Adam and Eve, the first sins in the creation, the snakes is involved. Hashem kills the snake. He cut his legs off. He had legs like crocodiles, many. Hashem chopped his legs off. He said, you'll crawl on the floor, and all your life, everything you eat will taste like mud. What's the proof that it's true? One rabbi made an experiment. What's the experiment? They gave the snake a rat, and they covered the rat with a cloth, a material cloth, like wool cloth or cotton, completely, a dead rat, and they cover it. And they left, the snake could have opened it up. They left a little bit loose, that he can pull it, and it will roll the rat, and then he can eat the rat. He ate it with a cloth. Tons of cloth around him. Doesn't care, without it, he eats everything. Everything you give him, he eats. And everything he eats, he tastes the same taste. We have this tens of thousands of tastes, so many tastes, different tastes. It's not only salty, sweet, bitter, 5 or 6 tastes, no. It's almost unlimited different tastes, all kinds of tastes. It's combinations. They don't taste anything. So everybody asks why Hashem did it to him. So in that, Hashem said, you don't need me anymore. That's it. Everything you eat, you can eat sand. You're hungry, you can eat sand, it's fine. So the question is, it's not such a curse. It's like having a vault, a safe, with parnasa for the rest of your life. You don't need Hashem, send us, parnasa, we need money, what does the rent do tomorrow? You don't need to be worried. He has everything he needs. So Chazal said, no, that's the biggest curse. When Hashem give a person billions of dollars and say, take for the rest of your life. I don't want anything to do with you. That's a curse. It's a punishment. Her father, he has 10 kids. And he has one of them that he's tired of him. That he said he cannot stand him anymore for the way he behaves, what he does. So he said to him, you know what? I have $1 million, my inheritance worth $1 million. I have 10 brothers. Take your 100,000. Here is a check. Get out of here. I don't want to ever see you. He's going to be happy. Yeah, he got $100,000. But his father just told him, get out of here. I don't want to ever see you. So the dogs is one of them. The dogs and the crows, because Hashem told them you're not allowed to have relation inside the ark. Until Noah will open the ark and all the animals will go out, you're not allowed to multiply. There's no room. And they didn't care, those two. And they did it, so for that they were cursed. So now when a person has a dog, think about it. Everyone wants to be a boss. Everybody would prefer that he will have servants. Nobody wants to be a servant of someone, right? If they tell you, what do you want to be, sir? A chauffeur of a billionaire, or you want to be the billionaire that has a chauffeur? Do you know anyone will choose to be a driver? Or a cleaning lady? Or cleaning the streets? Or a cook of somebody? No, everybody wants to be the king. Over here, people choose to be the servant of the filthiest thing on earth and pick up their bathroom on the street. And they don't even realize. So you see in Manhattan all these wealthy people with the fancy clothes walking, put a glove, picking it up. Unbelievable. These people don't even realize, hey, I came to this world and I chose to serve a filthy animal. With all the respect, after all, dogs are very faithful to people, we know. There's use with dogs, they use them. But the idea is that these people, and sometimes they are in love with their dogs. I remember 14 years ago, I did one Shabbat in Upper West Side. Upper West Side is a Jewish Orthodox community. There are a lot of young people. That's when I still didn't have white hair. I was also young. So my wife and I went to, I don't think we had kids at that time, maybe one. So we went there for Shabbat. And the synagogue, I think it was in a building. It's a dorm, like students. Maybe you know what I'm talking about, 72nd Street, West Side over there. So we go to the shul. Shul is in the second or the third floor in a building, but it's a regular building. Go in, come in and out. There's even not a restaurant, but like a store that sells candies, So people goes in and out to this building, elevators. It's regular Manhattan. And the religious people go upstairs through the stairs and they daven and they go back home. So when I came down, one Goya came with a big dog, and the leash of the dog got stuck in the elevator and choked him to death. You had to see what happened there. I'm telling you, you never saw in your life such a thing. She was hugging him and screaming and crying and pulling her hair, and no matter what, the people were trying to relax her, nothing helped. Standing there shocked. She was suffering a lot more than what a person suffers if he loses his boy or daughter. That's how much she was connected to that dog. You understand? And that's it. That's what happened when your spiritual level is so low, you connect equally to a dog. But when your spiritual level is very, very high, you cannot connect to any animal, especially not to a dog. But that's it. That's the situation today in the world. That's what's going on here. One person, when he came to America, I always say it, in the old days, it used to be 6 weekdays. Weekend was only Sunday. Shabbat was a working day. So there was one father of a Jewish family. So the poor father, every week he gets fired. He finds a job, he works. Why are you not coming tomorrow? I'm religious, I cannot come. I'm sorry, I don't need you. Goodbye. They paid him and he gets fired. So most of the Jews, they just got fired, they go. They look for another job. Some of them became not Shomer Shabbos. After a few months, they couldn't take it anymore. There's no money, cannot pay rent. Big test, very big test. But one of them, every time the boss, the guy, was firing him, he said, can you just write to me on a piece of paper, a note, why I got fired from here? So the guy said, who cares now, a note? Fire you because I need you tomorrow to work and you don't want to come. He said, no problem, don't worry, I'm not going to do anything with it. I just want to keep it for my record, that I know why I got fired. The guy said, who cares, no? So he write him a letter, a little note. Got fired because of religious reasons. He cannot work on Saturday, and I need a worker who works 6 days a week. And he gives it to him. Another note. Came the holiday of Sukkot. So, they build a sukkah now. So his kids, they have a little tiny in Manhattan. How big is the sukkah can be? So they build a little tiny sukkah. And the kids are very excited. They made all kinds of, things to hang on the walls of the sukkah. So he tells his kids, wait a minute, I also have a lot of things that I prepared for the sukkah. So he went, he got the box with all the notes. So the whole sukkah was full of notes. Clothing store, shoe store, the department store, all of it. So people who comes to the sukkah, so what's all these notes? See, it's stamps, notes, everything notes. He said that's the best kishut, the best glorious, how do you say kishut? Like things that you hang for the beauty. Decorations, right. The greatest decoration is to hang it on the walls for me to make Kiddush Hashem to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That how many jobs I got fired from until he was able to find a normal job that will allow him basically to finally get a parnasa. We know there was one case here in America of a person that they blaming him that he murdered someone. He put him on a trial. So in the middle of the trial, every day it becomes more and more obvious that he's the murderer. That's it. By now the jury is 99.9% convinced. 99.9%. So just before they finalized the trial, his lawyer got up. So his lawyer says to the judge and the jury, "Excuse me, before you're going to make a big mistake, I'm promising you right now that in 10 minutes, the person who you claim that he got killed will show up in the door of the court. 10 minutes from now, look at your watch. It's, let's say, 12:10, 12:20. He will walk in the door, and you see that you're all wrong. He never killed him." The whole courtroom was problems. Everybody's whispering, how can it be? It's confident 100%. The judge looking, the jury. So after 10 minutes, nobody came. So now the judge said, "What was that supposed to be?" He said, "Judge, the Constitution in the United States says that if you convict a person in a crime, you have to convince him only if there's no reasonable doubt. If you're 100% sure that that's the guy, then you convict him. All of you were staring at the door for 10 minutes, so nervous that he will show up. You're not even sure if he got killed. You want to convict him and send him for electric chair?"
That's crazy.
So the judge, you got us good. It doesn't say it, but it was too obvious. So what do you think was the end of that trial? A real story that happened here. What happened? They were about to convict him. That's it. It was moments before they read their decision. He shocked them.
Dismissed.
I'm sorry to disappoint you. They execute him in the end, and they found him guilty.
Anyway,
They found him guilty. So how they found him guilty? Listen good. In a moment that the lawyer said what he said and everybody looked at the door, the entire jury were convinced that that's a reasonable doubt. Here, he got us. The lawyer proved his point. Except one woman. One woman that was sitting in the jury reconvinced all of them to convict him. How she did it, after such a beautiful trick? She told them, when the lawyer announced what he announced, from that second on, I did not look at the door. I looked at the defendant. For 10 minutes I stared at him, and I saw that he did not look at the door even one time. I was looking in his papers, his head was down. Everybody looked at the door. He did not look at the door. You know why? Because he knows where he buried the body. That's why he doesn't look at the door. You understand? And she convinced one by one. She said, we got all the evidence. We have witnesses, we had this, he didn't have an alibi, he lied, we found him lying. You know how you find a person guilty, in the end they killed him. You understand? So you can lie to the whole world. You cannot lie to yourself. You know the truth. That's it. Yeah, there are people who put the show.
She was looking at the...
If you would look at the door, if you see him like this, at least he put a good show, no? Then I couldn't do anything. Reasonable doubt. Reasonable doubt, reasonable doubt. There's nothing you can do. The Gemara says in Masechet Menachot, page 44, the Gemara says, there's a person who was very, very careful with mitzvah tzitzit. Tzitzit, there are different customs. The Ashkenazim, they put the strings out. They want everybody to see it. So sometimes you see in the airport, the religious people, they have all their tzitziot out. The Sfaradim, they put it in. So it's not good to put it everywhere you go, to some filthy places, that it will be out. Because it symbolizes the name of Hashem, all the nuts. It's all like numeric value, how many, it can be 10 and 5 and 6. And then 5, which is the name of Hashem. It could be 39s in different orders. There are secrets in a tzitzit. It's not just you make knots according to your understanding. There's ways to do it. So the Sfaradim put it in, especially because in the old days they used to wear long kilts. So there's no way to take it out. Today we have pants so you can pull it out. But in the old days they used to wear like a long kilt. Like the Arabs and the Indians until this day, that's how they dress, the Muslims. So there's no way to take it out because there's no holes. So it was always under the clothes. So this guy is very, very careful with mitzvah tzitzit. He has good tzitzit. He never takes it off. But he makes other sins. He makes other sins. So he heard that there is one prostitute very far away. You have to take a boat and go for days until you go to her place. It wasn't like today. Unfortunately, almost everybody on the street is either working in prostitution or model or walk just naked on the street. There was a different world. Ladies have very, very high respect to themselves, to the body, to modesty, Jews and non-Jews. The world is very corrupted in this generation. Very hard to believe. I think if it's going to be the resurrection of the dead, all the tzaddikim that will resurrect will beg Hashem, take us back. We don't want this place. They never believe what's going on here. But anyway, so he's very careful. So he heard there's one prostitute all the way in the end of the land, in one long city far away, that she charged 400 coins of gold. It's like a fortune to go to her, like she's a famous one. So he sent her with a messenger 400, and she wants the payment up front. So he sent a messenger with 400 zeubim, coins of gold, and she gave him a date, this day, that time. And he went there. A Jew, very careful with mitzvah tzitzit, and making a sin that is 1,000,000 times worse. So he came to her home. So there is an assistant. She brings him in, she takes him to the room, and he goes inside. She has a servant. She's so rich. So she has a servant. So he said, the person who sent you the other day, the 400, his name is such and such, is waiting in a room. She said, okay, you can send him in. So he comes in. She has 7 different beds, one on top of the other. 6 made from pure silver, and 1 made from pure gold, the top one. And everyone has a ladder, that from one bed you go to the other one, and the ladders are all made from silver, and the last ladder made from pure gold. Just imagine how rich she was, that she can afford to have pure gold and silver beds. Eventually, with all the games that she played with him, she went all the way up to the top bed. And as he was taking his clothes off, now he has the tzitzit. What a fool. He comes to her with the tzitzit. So when he looks at the tzitzit, she doesn't know what's going on right now. All of a sudden, he jumped on the floor, and he sat on the floor, and he stuck his face to the wall, to the floor. And he got very upset. So she got very offended. It never happened to her. Everybody waits for months to have a date with her, and all of a sudden this guy jumping on the floor and almost crying. So she said, what did you see bad about me? I brushed my teeth, I put my deodorant, why you got disgusted from me? She took it personally. She said, I make you swear to me that it's not because of me. So he told her, I swear to you, in the life of the king of Rome, she was a Goya from Rome, they occupied Israel, the land, that is nothing to do with you. It's nothing to do with you. So she said, so in that case, what is it? He says, there's one mitzvah that our God told us to put tzitzit in our four corners of our clothing. This is what you saw that I'm wearing, this is it. And the tzitzit, the Torah say twice in this mitzvah, Ani Hashem Elokechem, I am your God. I am the God who gave you this mitzvah, and I am the God that will reward or punish people that either do this mitzvah or did not do this mitzvah. And it just came to my mind. And I looked at the four corners with the strings, and it looked to me like four witnesses standing and witnessing my sin that I'm about to do with you. So she was very impressed, this Goya. So she told him, I don't let you leave this room until you tell me your full name and where do you live and what yeshiva you go to and who's the rabbi. In a full FBI investigation. So, he wants to just run out of there. So he gave her all the information, she wrote everything down, she let him go. After that, the next day, she sold all her belongings, she took all her cash, she had tens of thousands of coins of gold, she was a very rich woman. She went to the Caesar of Israel. The Romans, they send Caesars to all over the world. Every place they occupy, they put a supervisor there.
Governor.
So they went to this, she went to these people in charge, and she started to bribe them that they will allow her to convert, because it was against the law of the Romans. If you convert, they kill you. It's like by the Arabs. You tell your uncle Ahmed, I'm going to convert. 5 seconds later, you, your wife, your children, your uncle, your cousin, everybody is dead. I had one guy from Pakistan, here is calling. He sent me an email that he decided to convert after he watched the lectures in the website. But he say in Pakistan, you don't have a Beit Din. He say, everyone in my neighborhood walk with machine guns, even the ladies. What do I have to do? How will I get dressed? If I dress like a Jew in 1 minute, they'll kill all my family. So I said him, don't worry, you don't have to dress like a Jew. You have a white yarmulke with the holes? Keep it on. And dress this white kilt that they wear. You dress like them, what's the problem? On the first opportunity that you go out, like to India or something, you contact me from there and I'll send you to the right place. So anyway, she gave a third of her wealth, she gave to the supervisors and the governors of the kingdom there, of Rome. A third of her money she gave to all the poor people. There was tons of poor Jewish people at that time, because there was, after 3 years of ambush, that it was hard to get food. And a third, which was still plenty of money, she came all the way to the yeshiva of this guy, and she asked to meet with the Rosh Yeshiva. He has a big bag full of coins of gold. She comes to the Rosh Yeshiva. Who was the Rosh Yeshiva? Believe it or not, one of the greatest rabbi we ever had in history, Rabbi Chia. Rabbi Chia, the big Rabbi Chia. She told him, Rabbi, I came to convert. I want to convert. You see a fancy lady. Usually those ladies, they are the queens of Rome. They don't want to come to convert now. So the rabbi suspect. So I say, maybe you fell in love with one of my students? Clever. she took the note that this yeshiva guy wrote to her with his handwriting. She took it out. She said, Rabbi, this is what happened. That's the truth. But I didn't come because I'm in love with him. No. Yeah, I mean, he's a nice guy, he's nice looking. Remember, in the old days, everybody had beard. Even the Romans. Everybody had beards. So she says, he's, how they say today, he's cute, but that's not the problem. I'm so impressed from your religion that the religion has such a power to take a man that already was in my bed and get him dressed and leave just because he fears God and respects God that watch him because of some stripes on the body. Something like this you don't find anywhere in the world. That's why I want to join the religion. Right away, Rabbi Chia said to the rabbis, convert her immediately. And the 7 fancy beds moved from her house into this guy's house. So Chazal says, in the end he got the 7 beds. He got them. But this time it was legal. Before, Hashem Yerachem, for every bed, what kind of Gehenna he was supposed to get. But now, at least he got it in a kosher way. Before we finished, it's very interesting, because one guy was walking in the street. He was walking in the street, and he saw a widow, a very rich widow, with her mother that lives with her. Her husband passed away, and he saw they live on a ground level. He saw from the window that they both sleeping on a bed, and a big bed, and snoring, and he saw a box with all the jewelry that people used to put in these big fancy boxes right there. So all he has to do is come from the window, 3 steps, he takes everything he wants, and he becomes rich. So he quietly goes in, he opened the box, bracelet, gold, silver, diamonds, everything. He's about to put everything in a bag and run. Then he started to think, wait a minute, what kind of a Jew I am? If I have faith in God, then this is not going to bring me any wealth. It's not mine. I have to lose it. I cannot enjoy it. If I deserve it, Hashem will send it to me anyway. So what's the point of stealing? I have to overcome my test. He put everything back and closed it. After a month or 2, he sits and learns in yeshiva. Forget about that already. Who does he see? This fancy rich woman standing by the gate of the yeshiva speaking to the rabbi, to the Rosh Yeshiva. She said to the rabbi, my husband died and I decided now it's time for me to get remarried, And I want the best guy in the yeshiva. The one who learns the best and is honest and this. So the rabbi say, I have one guy is perfect for you. Who is he? He points at him. And they got married. So he said that in his engagement speech, he said, all these jewelries that you see, he tells them the story. I almost got it before the time. But since I didn't surrender to my Satan, to my evil inclination, now I got it in a kosher way. That's what the Chazal and the Gemara is full of examples. If it's yours, it's yours. If it's not yours, it will never be yours. Even if you grab it and put it in your home, it's not yours. You took it, you have to pay for it. Sometimes it doesn't pay, the payment is too heavy. If you have any questions before we finish, everything fine, clear, yeah.
Last week you asked a question.
No.
You remember?
Yeah. No, tell me if you know the answer.
Yeah, for 80 days.
You have the answer?
Maybe.
Levi has the answer.
Really?
But he told me the answer before I walked in. Already on the street here. No, what's the answer?
What's the question?
The Torah says that if...
Question. You didn't tell the question.
Okay, so maybe since it's a different audience tonight, I'll re-ask the question and we'll wait for the answer for next week.
So do it.
I tell you what's the question. The question is, the Torah says, not last parasha, 9 days ago, the Torah said, if a woman gives birth to a boy, how many days she has to wait? 1 week, and then 33 days after. So together 40 days that she's impure. If she gives birth to a girl, 2 weeks impurity and 66 days. So it's 80. 40 with the boy, 80 with the girl. And I say, what's going on here? Why with the boy 40 days and with the girl 80 days? No? What do you think?
Maybe no.
So the truth is, I looked in the books for the answer for this question. I didn't find any convincing answer for it. There's one answer according to Kabbalah. Kabbalah, it's all the secrets. I was hoping to find a simple understanding of that. But it's a secret of Hashem. So Levi, please tell them the answer. No? According to the Kabbalah, it takes much longer time to elevate the holiness of a woman than the man. Now I know all the women is going to get offended, but what can we do? The holiness of a boy, it's bigger than the holiness of a girl. It doesn't take that long to get rid of the impurity. But with a girl, it takes longer, according to Kabbalah. By the way, one of the biggest mistakes that people do in religion is misinterpreting the blessing of the morning. We have a blessing in the morning that every man say, Baruch Ata Hashem Elokeinu Melech HaOlam Shelo Asani Isha. Bless you, God, that you did not make me a woman. All the feminists, they get very upset. So the Reform, they changed everything in religion, of course, according to their understanding, or foolish understanding, I should say. And they made a new religion. It's not even religion, because everything is allowed. So everything is allowed. So they made a new Sidur. What do they write over there? Baruch Ata Hashem Elokeinu Melech HaOlam She'asani Isha. Or Shelo Asani Gever. I'm not even sure. One of the two. They modified the blessing. In later generations, the rabbis, not the rabbis in the time of the Gemara, only a few hundred years ago, they added one more blessing to the Sidur, Baruch Ata Hashem, without the name of Hashem. Baruch Shasani Kirtzono. Bless you that made me as you wished. Maybe to cheer the women a little bit. But the truth is that the only reason that people get upset at this bracha is because of 100% ignorance. They just don't understand what's the meaning of the blessing. So now it's finally time to answer this question that all of you will rest in peace. You don't like that expression. So, rest in this life in peace, don't worry. So what is it? Did you see the order of the blessing? What's the blessing that comes before that? And what's the blessing that comes before that? There are 3 blessings back to back. The first one is, bless you, God, that didn't make me a goy. What comes right after that? Bless you, God, that you did not make me a slave. And the third one, bless you, God, that you did not make me a woman. What's this order? It must be in the same order. Must be. If you ruin the order, it's not good. This whole blessing is we praising Hashem for giving me, the man, the opportunity to keep as many mitzvot as possible. So what's the right order? A goy have only 7 laws to keep. That's it. 7 laws and finish. That's his test in life. A slave, which means Eved, how you become a slave in the old days, in the time of slavery, 2,500 years ago. A goy that wants to be a slave of a Jew must convert. Cannot stay a goy. So as soon as they make him the slave, they convert him. So he becomes Jewish now. But he's a slave. What's the difference? That he is obligated to keep all the laws that apply to women only. He's not obligated to learn Torah. is not obligated to put tefillin, but every mitzvah of a woman, except to go to the mikveh for nida, because he doesn't have nida, but except that, all the mitzvot of the woman he has to do.
Man?
Yes, man, all mitzvah of the woman. A woman eats, she has to make bracha, so he has to make bracha, right? A woman, she has to pray once a day, so he has to pray once a day. All the mitzvot that applies to a woman, it applies to him. Why he's not obligated to keep the laws of a man? Because he's not free. In order for you to come learn hours Torah every day, you have to be a free man. If you have to show up to Shachrit and put tefillin, you have to be free, that you can go every day in the same time. But over here, somebody gives you orders. So it's like a woman that her husband's asking her to do certain things. That's why she cannot go to the yeshiva. She's going to go to the yeshiva. Who's going to raise the kids? She has obligations in the house. So because the goy has only 7 laws to keep, so the first one we praise Hashem for not doing us is like a goy, because he has only 7 laws to keep. And when we say this bracha, we shouldn't think about the homeless goy in the middle of the street that washing your windshield for a quarter. No. You have to think about Obama or George Bush or Bill Gates, the greatest goyim in our time. This is what you have to have in mind when you make this bracha. Not a poor guy with leprosy, without his arm, a survivor from Vietnam that's begging for a quarter for coffee, like you see here in New York. No. That's not what we have to have in mind. Or those murderers in jail. No. The fanciest goy, he still can keep only 7 laws. So we bless Hashem. Thank you for not making me Bill Gates. With all the respect, he can only keep 7 laws. There's nothing personal about him, or her, or anybody else. It's just the concept of how many mitzvot I got as a gift. How many the goy got? 7 only. Why a mitzvah is a gift? Because there's a huge reward. It's like somebody who applies for a job and they're only willing to give him 2 hours of work. He's upset. Why are you upset? You're only going to work 2 hours a day. You go to the beach. What's the problem? You fool. I want to make money. I want 10 hours to work. Why? You like to work so much? No, I hate to work. So why you want to work? Because I want money. Right? And it's what brings reward. So first, thank you for not making me a goy. Second, thank you for not making me a slave. He has much more mitzvot than the goy, but he doesn't have mitzvot like a man. Right? Or even not like the woman, because the woman has few mitzvot that he doesn't have, such as nida and others. So he's a little bit less than a woman. And thank you for not making me a woman, which is the next one on the list. And the last one, it's men. So we have the right order. So it only applies to this concept of how many mitzvot I keep. Since the woman doesn't have the mitzvah of limud Torah, which is the most important mitzvah, limud Torah keneged kulam, the man is allowed to make this bracha. Thank you for not making me a lady. You understand? And it's not because of some people think that ladies are less or whatever. The opposite. The Torah said that the women have a more developed wisdom, bina yetera. And they are closer to Hashem in a much faster way, from the heart. They don't have to learn 20 years to get close to Hashem. They can get closer to Hashem in an express way. It's the heart of a woman is connected to Hashem in a much easier way. That's why they don't even need all this Torah learning and many other examples.
They have more fallenness then.
They have what?
Again, more fallenness.
No, we're not.
Yeah, like,
again, you didn't understand me. I'm not talking about the holiness. I'm not talking about who has easy life, hard life, who has more money, has nothing. We're not talking about this. We're only talking about the idea of who has the merit to keep more mitzvot. That's it. Which is a gift from God. So who got the greatest gift? The man, the Jewish man. Who is next on the list? The woman. Who is next on the list? The slave. Who is the next on the list? The goy. That's all. There's no prejudice, no racism, nothing like some people think. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen ve'amen. We'll see.